Good morning, fourth grade. I hope you are having a fantastic and marvelous day today. Well, guess what? Today we are going to be multiplying 4-digit factors today. You have been multiplying 3 digits and you've been having fun with that. Well, guess what? Today you are doing 4 digits. It's the same way. You're just going to add another column. That's it. All right, but we still are going to estimate today. It is a really good skill to practice and to know. All right, so first thing we're going to do is look at our example right here. We have 2,736. Well, what we're going to do is round to the greatest value because when we estimate, it's easier if we only have one digit to multiply and then we turn everything else into a 0. Makes it a whole lot easier, doesn't it? All right, but that's not going to give us the exact answer, but it will get us close. Okay, and that comes really handy, especially whenever you're shopping and you don't have a calculator and you just want to kind of have an average number of what your cost is going to be. All right, so looking here, we have 2,736. We want to estimate to our greatest value. Well, our greatest value would be farthest to the left, which happens to be the 1,000th place. Okay, this 2. So that means that we are going to estimate to either, let me get my drawing utensil here. It's either going to be closer to 2,000 or we're going to raise it to 3,000. Okay, so this is the number we're looking at. So how do we know whether it's going to be 2,000 or 3,000? Do you remember? You're right. We have to look at the number next to it. All right, so what is the rule about estimating? Do you remember? All right, well, if it is 5 or up, then we raise it up. Okay, so let's take a look. We have a 7. Well, that's greater than 5. So that means that it is going to estimate to 3,000. It's going to go up. Okay, that 2 will become a 3. And then the rest are zeros because that's what we want to do to make it easy to just multiply. Okay, because then all we have to focus on now is the 2 and the 3. All right, so there's 2 ways that we can do this. Let's do it the regular way first, and then I'll show you the easy peasy way. All right, well, first let's do this. 2 times 0. Remember, we always start at the ones place, and we work backwards. Okay? Same thing when we do the multiplication or the addition and the subtraction. It's the same. We always start with the ones place. All right, so let's do it. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times this 0 is 0. 2 times this 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. Now, we are working with thousands, so we have to make sure that we put the comma 3 spaces in, okay? Because as your numbers get bigger, every 3 spaces, you need to put a comma. All right, so now let me erase all of this so it's all nice and clean. And we're going to work out the problem actually. Okay, the actual problem here. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to do the ones place first. 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus this 1 is 7. So put the 7 here. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 we carried, which is 5. Again, we are working with thousands, so we want to make sure that we count our spaces in 1, 2, 3, and put our comma. All right, boys and girls, when you do your comma, make sure that your comma looks like a little C that's backwards. Okay, you know how you make a C like this? You don't want it to be quite that curvy. You want it to be like a loose, lazy C that's backwards. So just a nice little curvy line. Okay? Because if you make it too curvy, it can start to look like a letter, and then it gets a little bit confusing for me whenever I'm trying to check your paper. Okay? And you also want it to be small. It shouldn't be huge. All right, so let's move on to number 1. Before you do anything on your paper, it's good to read the directions. So let's go ahead and do that. Round to the nearest 1,000 to estimate, and then solve. Okay, well, that's what we've been doing, right? All right, so let's estimate this one together. All right. So we're going to round to the nearest 1,000. That's this place right here. So that means we need to look at this next number. We know that if it's 5 or higher, we estimate up. This happens to be a 0. So what do you think it is? Do you think it'll be 1,000 or 2,000? You're right. We're going to estimate 1,000. All right, and then we are going to multiply that times 5. Put your 5 in the ones place, okay, because that is a ones number. Now we can go ahead and multiply. This is the fun part. Oh, and you know what? I never showed you the other way with the other example, so we'll do that this time. Well, let's do it the long way first. Okay, 5 times the first 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times the third 0 is 0. 5 times 1 is 5. All right, very, very good. All right, now I'm going to show you the other way. So let me write that down. 1,000 times 5. So this way is the easy peasy way. That's what I call it. Because you're working with these zeros, we're going to ignore those right now. And we're going to just work with 5 times 1 is 5. And now we're going to add those zeros back. There's 3. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Then we just have to count our 1, 2, 3 spaces, put our comma, and there we go. So you can choose which way you like to do better. All right. So now let's work with our actual problem we need to solve. So let's do it. All right, starting with the ones place and working backwards. 5 times 6 is, what's 5 times 6? 30. Carry the 3. Okay. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 3. It's 43. Now, we have a 0 here. So what do you think we're going to do? 5 times 0 is 0. Now we add the 4 to it. 0 plus 4 is 4. Then 5 times 1 is 5. Don't forget to add your comma. There we are. So basically, if you look at the answer, 5,430, if we were to estimate it to the 1,000s place, it would be 5,000 because 4 is less than 5. All right. So you go ahead and work on the first 8 problems. Pause the screen, work on those, and then whenever you unpause, I'll have the answers up. please work on them. I am trusting you to do that. Okay? All right. So I'll see you when you're done working on these. Well, there it is. Go ahead and check your answers. All right. Pause the screen if you need more time, which I'm sure you do. And then unpause, and we will move on to the next part. All right, so let's take a look at the first word problem. Now remember, these are real life situations that are going to help you to see how you're going to apply what you're learning in real life situations. All right, so we have, I think that's Miguelita, made tacos with her mother and 2 sisters for their restaurant. Together, they made 36 tacos. If they each made the same number of tacos, how many did each person make? So, how do you think we're going to figure this out? Well, let's look at this. So, they want us to figure out how many did each person make. So we need to know how many total tacos there were first, right? So what does it say? It tells us right here, together they made 36 tacos. All right, so we have the 36 tacos that they made. And then they each made the same amount. It does tell us that, right? It does. They each made the same number of tacos. So we have to figure out how many of those are. So we're going to divide that by how many people, right? So let's see. There's Miguelita, her mother, and then 2 sisters. How many people is that? Did you say 4? You're right. So let's write this. 36 tacos divided by, whoops, that's a different color. All right, divided by 4 people is how many? How many tacos did each person make? You're right, 9 tacos. So we're going to write 9, and then don't forget, it says how many what? Tacos. 9 tacos. Okay. Let's move to number 10. All 4 boys at each of 3 tables ordered 2 tacos. How many tacos were ordered? All right, well, let's think about this. How many tables? There's 3 tables. 1, 2, 3. How many people were at each table? 4. There's 4 at each table. So in order to find out how many tacos were ordered, we need to find out how many people there were. So how would we figure that out? You're right. We would take the 3 tables times 4 boys at each table would be 12 boys. Okay, but that's not the total answer, because what they want to know is how many tacos were ordered. So what do you think we do now? All 4 boys at each of 3 tables ordered 2 tacos. You're right. You would do 12 of the boys times 2 tacos each would be 24 tacos. And there you go. Very, very good. All right, let's take a look at the back. Now this back part is going to be fairly easy for you. All right, so looking at numbers 1 and 2, you are going to practice estimating, and then you're going to solve. 3 through 17 is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to solve by multiplying. Don't forget the decimal point. Remember how to count those. Let's look at number 8 here just to practice and make sure you remember. All right, so let's do 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 5 is, very good, 35. Put the 5, carry the 3. 7 times 6 is what? It's 42 plus 3 is 45. Okay, and then we need to put our dollar sign, and then we need to count our decimal point. 1, 2, 1, 2. Put the dot. All right. So anytime there is money involved, you must have the dollar sign, and you also need to have the decimal point exactly the same amount of spaces as what you see. All right, which is mostly going to be 2, but you should count and make sure anyway. Okay, so you're going to do that, and then you have the 2 word problems on the bottom. And don't just assume it's multiplication. I mean, they might throw something a little different at you. Just a hint, hint, hint. Just saying. All right, so you go ahead and work on that. And then whenever you're finished, come back. And then play this video and fast forward to the end here. And then check your answers. Or you can pause it until you've finished it all. All right. So you go ahead and work on it and then check back. All right, boys and girls, so you may go ahead and check your work, see how you did. Yep. All right, so if you have any problems with anything or you don't understand something, please, please, please feel free to email me, and maybe we can do a Google Meet live or something so that I can work with you directly. All right? Okay, pause the screen because this video is almost over, and that way you can take the time to check your work. All right, I will talk to you next time. Have a great day.